The same rules apply per the health. If you are sitting at your stickers in each one of these, you can take your mask off because you are then 6 feet apart. Those of us here are 6 feet apart. If you are with a family member, you can sit with that family member 6 feet apart from everybody else without your mask. If you're not a family member, you can, and obviously, if you're not a family member and you're within 6 feet. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I think we're going to get going. Good evening, everybody. Welcome tonight to the Town Council meeting for September 7th, 2021. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
I'm here. 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 Present.
Valerie DiPaolo,
Here.
Dietzick, Maria Triano.
And I am here also. Could we all stand for the prayer? Tom Lombardi is going to lead us, and then we'll go right into the flag salute.
Heavenly Father, may we consider the people of Southington and always render what is right and just for our citizens. Help us to be compassionate and caring for each individual while still seeking what is appropriate for the entire community. Give us wisdom and guidance. Amen.
Amen. Would you join me for the flag salute? I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Item 2, the minutes. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
And I'll second.
And there's a second. Any discussion? Any additions, deletions, anything? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. It's unanimous. Councilperson's communication. Tom, would you go ahead and take it?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I begin, I just wanted to relay the message that Councilman Dietzick had a work commitment this evening and could not be here. He wanted to share that with you all. The item that I wanted to update the public about is what Councilman Palmieri and I have been discussing for the last few months, and that is our annual Apple Harvest Festival is back this year, and it's coming up this Friday, October 1st. I'd like to invite the entire council to opening ceremonies, which will be 5:30. It's a brief opening ceremony, maybe somewhere between 15 and 25 minutes. The parade is on Sunday, October 3rd at 2 p.m. The fireworks are Saturday, October 2nd at 9 p.m. And our national act this year is Vertical Horizon, which will be Saturday, October 9th at 7:45. And a full schedule can be found on the town website with a full listing of bands and other entertainment options for the 2 weekends. If you happen to come down during those times, you can acknowledge Councilman Palmieri and I with apple fritters or just say hello. So, because we're there the entire time. So if we miss you and look exhausted, please accept our apologies in advance. So, look forward to it.
Well, your whole team has worked so hard. Chris, you're always there. Tom, we're looking forward to a very good Apple Festival, and I'm sure it's going to be successful. So we are excited with all of you and thankful for all your great effort on this. Both you and the whole committee has been wonderful, and so that's great. Tom or Chris have a question for you. The opening ceremonies on Friday at 5:30. Will that be on the green?
It'll be on the main stage.
Oh, on the main stage.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Wherever it is. Very good. Okay, thank you. Anybody? Yeah, Chris.
I have several things. First of all, I'll continue with the apple harvest. Just some updates. We are pleased to announce that our granny apple this year, her name is Sandy Phelan, and her granddaughter Kara, who's a fourth grader at Jarnowski Elementary School, wrote the winning essay. So she'll be recognized at the opening ceremonies.
Excellent.
On Friday night. We also had our gala, which was this past Thursday, and really to unofficially kick off the festival, to acknowledge and recognize many of our sponsors, and to recognize our ambassadors this year. So if I could, I'd just like to acknowledge all the sponsors. So first of all, our National Band Act sponsor is Hartford Healthcare, and they're sponsoring Vertical Horizon on Saturday, October 9th. Platinum sponsors this year are Bristol Health, who's sponsoring the parade, and AMR, sponsor of the fireworks. Gold sponsors this year are Liberty Bank, who's sponsoring the Carnival Family Nights, Price Chopper, who sponsored the gala, and Feeding and Siding, and Rhea Clinic. And Rhea Clinic also sponsored the apple pie eating contest. Last gold sponsor is Coca-Cola. Our silver sponsors this year are Century 21 All Points Realty, who's sponsoring the apple fritter eating contest, Goosetown Communications, and Rosie's Royal Chocolates. And finally, our bronze sponsors this year are BL Companies, Security 101, Ion Bank, Ty & Bond, Quantum Biopower, and Tilcon. So thank you to all of them. They were acknowledged at the gala, and we just want to congratulate all of them. We also recognized all our ambassadors. So our ambassadors this year are Olivia Belfonte, Callie Borkowski, Jillian Christensen, Hannah Cooper, Amela Dishnika, Mia Forgione, Tia Guay, Amber Cole, Sophia LeBlanc, Maddie Lukanik, Angelina McCacci, Sophia Shasha, Allison Torino, Jaleesa Vincent, and Sophie Wojcicki, who is also named the Queen. Sophie is this year's Apple Harvest Queen. So we'll get to see all of them throughout the 2 weekends of the festival, and certainly at opening ceremonies as well. Huge shout out again. Tom and I want to thank all the volunteers because
We couldn't do it without
we couldn't do it
them.
without them. So thank you to all the volunteers that are helping the town out both with the prep and over the course of the 2 weekends. And then finally, our staff members, Melissa Kokoza, who's our sponsor coordinator, Julia Berardinelli, who's the assistant coordinator, and Dave LaPre, who's the festival coordinator. So just a huge thanks to all of them for all their work leading up to the festival.
Yeah, coming back strong, right?
Oh, yeah.
Coming back strong.
We're
Chris-
back.
That's good. Chris, do you have anything else that you wanted to mention?
Yes. So in front of you is the calendar from STEPS this year. So we wanted to give those to all of you. And these calendars were sponsored by, really thank the police department. And you can see there's pictures of the kids, talks about some of the assets, which we've heard a lot about over the years, and survey results are in the calendar. So if you look through each month, you can see some of the survey results. If you remember, we also talked about the partnership between Southington Police Department and STEPS.
Yes.
And we talked about replacing the DARE program. So that's going into effect for this year. So DARE is going to be replaced. It's now called STEPS. So you're going to see a lot of marketing around STEPS. Specifically, it's a 6-week curriculum, and it focuses on trusted adults, protective and risk factors, risk-taking behaviors, youth substance abuse, internet safety, and mental health and inclusivity. So again, through a partnership with the Southington Police Department, this replaces the traditional DARE curriculum. So they'll be going into the school system together in partnership to deliver that curriculum. So
Could I ask you a question, Chris? One of the aspects of the DARE program, which was extremely effective, was that children were able to meet with a police officer and have less fear of a police officer. And in that, I hope that STEPS and the PD will continue to do outreach with our officers, and so that they can still build that very, very important link.
we have a specific resource officer. His name is Chris Laporte.
Oh, Laporte. Yep,
So
Chris
Chris
Laporte.
Laporte is the school resource officer, and he's in the elementary schools and the 2 middle schools.
Oh, that's terrific.
And then, of
Thank
course, there's a dedicated resource officer at the high school as well.
you. That's right. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Two more quick things. I had the pleasure of attending the gold medal with you, Vicky. Mike Soltis received the award. I want to thank you, Vicky, for nominating him in the first place, which is why he was recognized for the gold medal. So hearing everything he's done, very humbling, and his speech was just fantastic. So it was an honor to be there alongside with you to present the gold medal to him. And then finally on Saturday, a lot going on, like you said.
Yeah.
Saturday, I had the pleasure of attending with Val to attend the unveiling of the mural. And if you haven't seen it, it's on the side of Serafino's property, right across from the YMCA. It's absolutely phenomenal. So Val and I had the pleasure of attending there on Saturday. So just a shout out to all those involved in making that a reality.
I was up on the hill a little bit. I had another commitment that I knew I wasn't going to be able to stay long for, but there was quite a nice turnout, I thought. It was very nice, yeah.
Definitely.
Very good. Anything else, Chris?
That's it.
Chris Poulos, you had your hand up?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Madam Chair. I just wanted to share my regrets with fellow counselors and the community that I'll be out of town this weekend. So as much as I would very much like to join you in the parade, I won't be there, but I'll be there in spirit, and somehow I'll get out a virtual wave to the community. So enjoy the parade march and the festivities.
Thank you. Yeah, Val, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I just was going to speak about the mural for a second, but looking at the calendar, I think it's great that if you look at 68% of Southington students value diversity in their school and community, and 72% of students place high value on promoting equality and social justice. So that really goes hand in hand with the mural that went up. And, it really was something to be there. I know there's a few people sitting in the audience that were there. The theme of the mural is building a community for all. And I think that if you start to look at the results that we're getting from some of these surveys and things then that are going on in our community, I think the youth in our community are speaking loud and clear about what they would like to see, in Southington. So I think, the mural was it's beautiful. I've had nothing but positive feedback on it. I just wanted to give a thank you to the Rise Up organization, SOCA, the committee of women that put this together, all the sponsors that were involved. The artist is Amita Roller, who was just phenomenal, and and obviously Mary DeCrose. For having the vision of bringing this to our town and knowing probably what it would do for our community. So it was a great morning, and just something that I think our town can really rejoice with. So was very happy to be there.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anyone else? Oh, yes.
Madam Chair,
Michael?
really briefly, I am so looking forward to the apple harvest in the next 2 weeks. Not only because I'm going to eat way too much, but it really is the greatest thing for Southington to see the amount of people and the parade. It's like me going to Disney World. The next 2 weeks is just going to be phenomenal, and I really look forward to it. And I have kids now that are a little older and they're adolescents, and they're going to be down there kind of like I was down there when I was an adolescent. So I'm really looking forward to the next 2 weekends and sharing time with everyone in Southington and seeing thousands of
Gonna be
people.
great.
It's just the best time of the year.
It's going to be
That's
great.
it.
I think so, too. And it's always good to see Chris and Tom working so hard all through the two.
Yeah, that's really wonderful.
Yeah, we sit back and make fun of them.
It's a time to shine. We appreciate all your work. Listen, anybody else, anything? I do have something that I did want to just encourage our this is election time, our candidates. This is election time. And so let us all just really be very careful where we put our signs, that we need to have permission from somebody. We just don't throw them up haphazardly. So we need to make sure that we have signs that are approved in the right places by the person who owns that property. And if not, the town will take them down. So just as a warning for all of us, you know, I'm just as a reminder, not a warning, a reminder to just make sure that that we're mindful of where they are going, and also. It is that time, so everybody gets excited, and we want to have fun doing it. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out. I don't know if anybody else has anything about the upcoming election or whatever.
Yeah, to that point, if there's a resident out there that sees a sign that's blocking traffic view, all of this current council, all of our contact info is on the town website. So even if it's a new name that you've never heard, send an email to the council. Say, you know, this sign on Main Street is blocking the view of traffic, and we take care of that. I know a couple years ago, I got a call regarding one of my signs, and we should act quickly if we get those calls.
Oh yeah, sure,
So,
sure, absolutely. Okay, everybody, is that all right? Well, let's move on then. Thank you, everyone. Certainly a lot of things going on in town. Report of special committees. Could we get a report from Open Space, Paul?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sure, I'll be brief, and if I miss anything, Chris, please feel free to chime in. I have 4 items for Open Space. The good news is we, with a lot of the permits that are going on in town, the maintenance budget for Open Space is robust. So as of a month or 2 ago, we were able to continue to add to our maintenance fees there to help us maintain our current open space. So we have a nice budget there to work with heading into the new year. I spoke last time about the roofs at the Leaf Farm in Grosky with the barns, so we're looking forward to getting those started here in the weeks ahead. And of course, the facelift at Grosky. Since the last time we met, there's been some site work there with the old fence removal, the one that was broken, and some site cleanup. And we've since installed electrical service as well to the barn. So looking forward to bringing more activity and promoting farming at that site, as well as fixing the leaf barn roof as well. We are scheduled for October 15th. If anybody's interested, there is a prospective Eagle Scout, Michael O'Sullivan, who is going to be replacing the field at the Pleasant View Garden next to DePaulo. So if there's anybody who's looking to volunteer or do some community work and wants to get dirty that day, please feel free to let me know, and I'll put you in contact with Michael O'Sullivan, and you can help be a pair of hands for installing the new fence.
You mean replacing the fence? You said replacing the field.
Oh yeah, the fence.
Yeah, the fence. Yeah, you
Not
said
the field.
I was going to say.
But we cut the field. We did have the field cut by a couple of the folks who were going to be planting there. So we're also glad that was done, because I know that there was a couple people who had inquired about that. Thanks for the correction, Chris.
Yeah, no problem.
And then a couple last things. We have a couple potential new opportunities that are before us, so we're looking at those. And we have a group of volunteer Boy Scouts that are also going to help us clear and open up the trails at Novik's Orchard in the month of October. So looking forward to that as well.
Those Boy Scouts.
October 15th.
Great.
Chris, anything else from your side?
No, I don't think so. I think it was pretty thorough. Quick
Very
meeting,
good.
too.
Any other reports of special committees that perhaps are not listed here? Thank you, Paul. Hearing none, we'll just move on. Item number 5, the town manager's report and communications.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening to everybody.
Good evening.
Tonight I have the pleasure of introducing our new Water Department Superintendent. It's always excited when we get a new department head. The Water Department, obviously, although not technically part of Southington, works very closely with the government of the town of Southington. And we're lucky to have this next gentleman as our new superintendent. Doug Arndt, why don't you come up and say hello? And
Welcome.
Good evening. I'm Doug Arndt. It's a pleasure to meet the town council. And I've been very fortunate to walk into a very great situation here in the town of Southington. Not only is it the water department a very shining example here in the state in terms of how departments are run, but very fortunate, I think it was our first meeting, very fortunate to receive a very generous gift from the town side to receive some very important funding to help us go after some of the existing lead that's in our systems. And as we all may or may not be aware, lead was a predominant material used in the early part of the last century, and still exists in a number of places. Even though we sample these places regularly, and the levels of lead are well below where they need to be, these funds will definitely help us to go after and remove that material from our system.
Wonderful.
I've been in public service for almost, over 20 years, going 25 years. Have served in a number of different capacities. So I have a real sense of the different dynamics and the challenges that go on at various different levels. And, feel fortunate to be part of a tight team here in the town of Southington. And, back in the early 90s, I actually worked at the old Pratt Whitney on Newell Street, part of the environmental cleanup back in the day. So I'm from Central Connecticut, so Southington is like my backyard to me. And certainly the people, my department and in town have been very welcome. So I just appreciate the opportunity to serve the town, and consider myself a team player, and really just kind of pitch in whatever is needed in town. Obviously I have a department to run, but certainly, I don't run anything as a silo. It's a team effort, and when the team pitches in, to be surprised what kind of challenges that we can overcome. So I count it a pleasure to be before you this evening, and look forward to getting to know you all personally, and looking forward to help you just improve the town of Southington.
Well, welcome. Thank you. I know Paul has a question. He's reaching for his
Sure.
mic. But
Thank
sure
you,
thing.
Madam Chair. Thank you.
Yes.
Doug, welcome to Southington.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to working with you, and it's great to see that you have experience. I'm glad to see that we're fixing the lead. That's got to be our top priority, because of the hazards obviously associated with lead. After lead, we'd like you to tackle the hard water. So if you can tackle that, you'll be the shining superstar, please. Hard water is number 2 on the priority list.
We only give money for lead, though, Paul.
Got to get rid of the lead first.
Can't promise you anything, but we may have some good news in that area as well.
All right.
So, we've got a lot of, again, I'm walking into a lot of projects that are already ongoing, and that was one of the concerns that hopefully.
Awesome.
Excellent.
2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen.
Thank you
Welcome.
for that, Mike.
Very good, Mike.
Thank you.
Remember that. Listen.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Doug.
Welcome aboard.
There's no further questions for Doug. At your last meeting, you allowed me to apply for a grant for the Affordable Housing Plan, which is required by the state of Connecticut to be filed by June 1st, 2022. We had our Director Edwards, do a professional call out. She had several people she spoke with. She put a memo together, and she's recommending that the council allow me to sign a contract with Planometrics out of Simsbury, Connecticut, for a fee not to include $15,000. Any questions on that? I know she answered all your questions the last time. That's all I have, Madam Chair. There will not be executive session tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Any other questions for the Town Manager? Hearing none, thank you so much. Let's move on to item 6, the Town Attorney's Report.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh, excuse me just one
If
second.
it's okay, Madam Chair, I'm going to recuse myself from this one.
Yes, okay, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Attorney. Town's Attorney, Paul's going to just recuse himself for just a few minutes. You can go ahead, Jeremy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have one item on my report today. It was the 824 referral from last meeting to the Planning and Zoning Commission. At their last meeting, they returned a favorable recommendation on the abandonment of Whitman Road. Just in conjunction with this, the town and the Sportsman Club are still working on some paperwork. So with your approval, I'd like to ask you to table item B of old business till the next meeting, if that's possible.
Okay, we'll take that up under item B. Very good. Anything else? Attorney?
Nothing else on the report today.
Very good. Thank you so much. Paul, you can come back. Right now, we're going to enter into public communication. We're very happy you're here, and we're here to listen. And so we would ask you to be respectful, as we will be respectful to all of you. Anybody who wishes to speak, you may come forward. You can give your name and address, and you have 5 minutes. The mic is open.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Hi.
For the public record, my name is Angelica Spada. I live at 550 Darling Street, and I'm submitting this speech and letter for public view to discuss what is being called the New Age segregation. I also would like to suggest that this town council pass a resolution that restores our constitutionally provided government of 3 co-equal branches that are legislative, judicial, and executive to ensure Americans have proper checks and balances. I just came from the Hartford State Capitol, where I'm sure many of you already know that the House passed on in favor of extending Governor Ned Lamont's emergency powers. I'm a mother, I'm a constituent, and I care about others equally, regardless of whatever your opinion may be, regardless if it may differ than mine. I still respect everyone's individuality and their uniqueness. So I just came here today because I want the public to ask themselves when it's appropriate to step up and speak up for what they believe is right. When is it going to be appropriate for them? And I'm hoping it's today. So I'm going to ask, what is segregation? Can you each define the term? I can. Segregation is a noun. It is the act or practice of segregating, a setting apart or separation of people or things from others or from the main body or group. An example is the unconstitutional House bill that illegally passed on April 28, 2021. The House bill is called HB 6423, an Act Concerning Immunizations. It is the bill appearing as law, passed to essentially eradicate, eliminate, and segregate families with religious belief. So the state interfered with the religious belief of families who may wanted to opt out of maybe vaccinating or not vaccinating their child. And, you know, for the public record, I'm fully vaccinated. But not that it should matter, because I should still be treated with proper equity and respect and kindness. And so should anyone else. I think that this bill that they passed promotes a new age segregation. How could the state decide to interfere, with individual religious rights to practice and raise their children with a religious belief? How could the state interfere with the religious belief and take away the option to be exempt from traditional vaccine schedules, which have been allowed via the RE, the religious exemption, for the past 50 plus years in the state of Connecticut? How could the state have validity anymore if the law that passed violates the Constitution, which I do have here, you know, I'm educated a little. How could the state have validity anymore? I think regardless of vaccination status, which is a personal medical decision, that Americans should be eligible to receive free appropriate public education at any given public school. This state will not allow children to attend public schools anymore, segregating them due to a vaccination status. We as a society should not discriminate against others due to a personal medical decision. And I comprehend that we were in the middle of a pandemic, but the numbers have shown that things have decreased dramatically. And I too have family who have passed and who have gotten gravely sick. But I encourage the leaders today of this nation, because we are in America, to be strong and courageous and not lead us in fear or with fear. I just want to ask the people, when does segregation become a red flag to you? And this is a question for anyone in general. Is it when people are oppressed for their religious beliefs and kicked out of public schools or public buildings, or even have to walk away from their careers? Is it going to be a red flag?
Angelica, can you bring it to a
Yeah.
close in a little bit?
I will say this. Thank you, Madam Chair. I will just say this in closing. I'm certain that COVID-19 is being used for political purposes and public control. COVID-19 is testing America's commitment to the people's constitutional and universal human rights, and that is the real experiment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anyone else wishing to come forward and speak this evening? Last call. Anyone wishing to speak this evening? Hearing no one else, thank you very much. We're going to close public communication. Let's get on to old business. Item number 8, action on affordable housing plan contract.
Motion to approve the contract, Madam Chair.
I have a motion
Second,
to
Madam
approve.
Chair.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Any other discussion about it?
Madam Chair, can I just mention a couple things on this?
Yes?
Okay. So I had reached out to our planner, Mary Ellen Edwards, and I just want to thank her. She took some time today to sit with me and to go through some of this. So I just wanted to just make sure that we're keeping in mind, and she was going to speak with the, I guess, the principal of Planometrics. She said she did talk with him. I want to make sure with all of this that we are, that we'll have community involvement, community input. I want to make sure that we're not just kind of checking a box, that we have to do this every 5 years and let's just check the box, get this done. Doing a little research on affordable housing plans, there's a lot of equity issues. And, I just want to make sure we're keeping all of that in mind. And I think the goal with a lot of these plans is that you want to have a just and a fair community. And we may not be looking just for options to satisfy, I think it's the 830J standard, but maybe there's other options. Maybe there's, we can think outside the box and, think about who in our community, may be looking to affordable housing. So, it was a really good discussion with her, and I just hope that we'll keep all of that in mind as we move forward, with this.
Val, did you get a copy of this?
I did, and I went
and
through.
there is a community
Well, I went through it
involvement.
well, there is, but there's limitations on it, and I think the timing of it is, I think it raised a lot of questions for me.
Okay.
And she was able to talk to the principal at Planometrics, that I think that he will, he's going to look at some of this. And so I just think as a council, I think it's something that we really should keep in mind as we move forward with it.
Thank you. Yep, very good. Wait, just 1 second. Jim raised his hand just before you. So go ahead, Jim.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did want to comment that I think this is an excellent selection. I was previously quite involved in the POCD that we did a couple of years ago on the planning and zoning. This firm was chosen for that task, and this guy, Greg, was extremely professional, extremely knowledgeable, and he was very keen on community involvement and the opinion of the community. He was a joy to work with. We had a cross-functional team of residents, politicians, board members, et cetera. And like I said, the process was refreshing, and it was really well done. And I think that this guy or this company is a great choice because he already understands our community amongst many others in the state. And I think his knowledge is superb. So I was happy to see that was the choice. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Paul, you wanted to speak.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to address Val, your comments about I'm wondering whether the concern is the timeline. Councilperson had questions about or concerns that there was not going to be community input, but when I read the schedule that was provided to us, it says community meeting, housing needs issues in November, the month of November, then discussing with planning and zoning at 2 meetings in December. Then it says in January, there would be a preliminary plan with PZC in January. All of those have public input sessions where they could speak on that. And then a draft plan in February, and then a public hearing in April again to collect feedback and I'm wondering whether the councilperson feels as though that should be modified.
It's a draft plan. So my concern is that, first of all, that there are, groups of like a diverse group of people working on this from the beginning. So some of the research I did, they have a community survey done right away. And that might not be Glenn and his group. It could be the town. It could be, like Mary Ellen said, it could be her. It could be the planning office that would do a community survey. Some may feel that a community survey may not do the trick. So there's a lot of questions as to, I see there's community involvement, and that's great. But I think when you talk about a working group, who should be part of that group? Who should be on that group? I just want to make sure we're looking to be, we're reaching out, we are having community involvement, and we are having it with a diverse group of people. And we're looking at this with, some idea towards equity and equality. So I think the draft is excellent. And after talking with Mary Ellen, it does sound like Glenn is has a really good company, and he was involved in 2016. It's 5 years later. We have our town is changing. The town is changing. So I don't have a problem with it. I just want to make sure that we are keeping a lot of this in mind and follow through on it.
Anybody else?
Well, I'll just make one last comment. I think that from what I've learned over the last 2 years is that our planning and zoning board, the chairman is here now. They have been very thorough with a lot of the issues. And if any member of the council wants to have input or, encourage input, I think that that's always a good thing. And we could put it out there as this contract moves forward. So let's give more assignments to planning and zoning while we're at it.
More work for Bob, yeah. Very good. Any other comments? We're ready to move the motion?
Madam Chair, I just want to make one more.
Okay.
I forgot to mention that the community interaction, and also many of the meetings that we had with this group, they were exercises that were predetermined exercises that everybody was able to participate in. So if you went to a community session, you were literally personally involved in the exercise. So everyone's comments and concerns were put up there. Nobody was left out.
Excellent.
And again, I thought that was really a successful way to run it.
Excellent. Very good.
So,
All right.
so Madam Chair, so what I think then is going to be really important, and I know Chair Hammersley is here, it's going to be really important to put it out there so the public knows that they can be involved, right? So we can't just maybe put it on one, maybe just announce it once. We have to really put it out there, because Mr. Morelli's making a great comment. If the public can be involved on exercises, and really, they have to know. They have to know that this is taking place, and the notice has to be out there. So that's going to be critical.
Absolutely. Very good. Can we move the motion now?
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? It is passed unanimously.
Madam Chair, I'll recuse myself for the next item.
Thank you so much. We have a request for a table on action B.
Motion to table.
I'll
Thank you,
second.
Chris.
I'll
Thank you,
second.
Tom. Is there any other discussion on item B?
No discussion on table.
No discussion.
Oh, that's right. It's a table. I'm so sorry. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The table passes. New business tax refunds.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the tax refunds that are outlined in our packet.
Very good.
Second.
You have a second from Mike. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That passes. And can we get a motion to go?
Make that motion, Madam Chair, to adjourn.
Yes. Do we have a second? This is a fast
Second.
meeting, I'm telling you. All those in favor to adjourn, it is, what is it? It's,
7:30.
7:39.
I think this sets a record, Mark.
It's a gift
All those
for all the
in favor-
Dallas
Wait a minute,
Philadelphia
wait a minute.
fans who
We're
want to
gonna
get
talk
home from football.
records.
He's trying to slow it down now.
We got to go back to planning and
All
zoning,
those in
circa
favor?
2000.
Aye. Are there any opposed? I
Seven oh
hear
eight.
none, passes unanimously. Thank you, Mike. Have a great night tonight, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Don't forget the Apple Harvest Festival.
Who made that motion to adjourn?
Who's going to be?
Del Santo.
I second.
Borelli
Yeah.
seconded. Yeah.
Val did too. I saw.
Good. Okay. Let's
Still have the family. How's mom and dad doing?
He gets the first.
They go down to Florida at all, or they stick
go
around? My parents go January, February, March, and April.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Will do.
My Monday night.
Okay.
Going to the friends.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.